No.
Hold on. Let's start the show properly.
Come on outside, just like I like it.
Pretty big fish to fry. Pretty big fish to fry. My. Pretty big fish to fry. Pretty big fish to fry. My. Last weekend out there, thought I'd make it out alive. Told myself I'd take time and give the world a try. I was alive. My.
Oh, everybody. It is Wednesday, September the 13th, 2017. You're checking out the premier sports and beer podcast coming to you from all over the country. Lowen Outside, lowenoutside.com. Check us out. Thanks for taking the time, everybody. We definitely do appreciate you joining us each and every week as we made the migration to our new show name. We're glad that you came along. For those new listeners, welcome. And this is kind of how we kick it off every week.
Why don't you go back home to your strip malls and drink your Zimas and Smirnoff Ices? Oh yeah! The greatest beer in all Zephyr!
Somebody from the bar.
Yeah, I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. Cause I'm feeling kind of parched. Stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge.
So, those of you that are checking in from Utah or California for the first time, this is not exactly how I sound each week, but I'm battling a little bit of a cold. Had my brother's bachelor party all weekend, so I'm still in recovery mode as a 35-year-old man. So I'm not drinking beer tonight. This is the first show I'm doing where I'm not drinking beer. But like a good soldier, I'm drinking whiskey instead. So old number 7 coming at you.
2 thumbs up for me on that.
Hanging out in Montville, I believe. I'm guaranteed he's not drinking anything with alcohol in it. But Anthony, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm actually at a hotel in Reston, Virginia, away on business.
What the fuck?
But no, I'm not drinking a beer tonight. I've got a nice Hotel Dasani, 1984.
Where's that,
Sean? Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
So there's more than one of us that don't want to hang out with Yampo and within striking distance.
He is within true striking distance.
I was in Baltimore too.
Yeah, well, you didn't fucking call me. Yeah, but you were in Baltimore when I was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Trying to make out with Big Red.
Yeah. Where's Dasani bottled? Does it say so on the bottle?
Dasani is bottled
Fiji.
Isn't it the Detroit River?
All right. Hotlanta.
Whatever.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Hotlanta. Nice.
Welcome to Reston.
Thank you.
Let's go over to Denville and talk to Brett.
What's up? I just want to say real quick. Did you start yet? Fuck.
Yeah, that's kind of how tonight started.
Cut it.
And Yampo Saturday nights. I got Jeff. I'm drinking a variation of Paul's. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Punch from Magnify. I'm drinking 1-2 Punch, and there's going to be. I didn't do a beer review in a hot minute, so there's going to be one up tonight. I'll send it to you on Low and Outside, and so we'll talk about 1-2 Punch.
Am I going to see you this weekend?
Sunday?
Okay, I don't know. Maybe. All right, I want some of that beer.
I don't know. Just call me.
All right, cool.
Definitely be around.
I've got a few plays in my book, Brett. If you want.
I didn't get a chance to retort, but we're gonna address this at some point during the show if time allows.
Great. Can't wait for it. What are you drinking?
Yeah, great. Okay, fine. Fuck you. I'll get to the point. I'm drinking Coors Light. Fuck all y'all.
Okay, that's great. Nick, Parsippany?
I got some Ballast Point Pineapple Sculpin.
Not Ballast Point, like you said last time?
Yeah,
And
there he is, my angry elf.
And your favorite game of mine, Coors or Miller Lite. What do we got, Sean?
You know, Jeff, I'm going to ask that we actually hold this game until the college football section. There might be some surprises.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay.
We
could
do
a nice Ogie Shard or something.
Can we? So you don't want us to take guesses right now as to what you're drinking, though? You want to wait?
No, don't take a guess. We'll give the listeners a little something special today.
Okay. Quick question, now, Anthony. What are you doing in Virginia?
I am actually here for an insurance seminar.
Oh.
You dick.
All right, we got at the beginning of the show tonight. We got a Who Cares segment. Yampo, lead us off.
Fucking A. Good job, dude. Baker Mayfield. This might be Sean's favorite guy of all time. Definitely Scott's. Baker Mayfield plants the OU flag at the middle of the OSU field. No one calls them OSU.
No.
Who really gives a shit? Does anyone really care?
I do.
Why?
I don't.
I was watching that game, and I think, and we'll talk about it a little bit more at college football, I hope. I think that he looked like a pro. I mean, he looked like a legitimate
The Jets fan is excited.
No, I mean, I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks, but I watched the entirety of that game, and I thought he looked tremendous. And then he goes out there and pulls the sophomoric act by planting the flag in the middle of the field. I think he need to do it. But I'm also a big fan of, like, act like you've been there before. So to me,
I buy that. But at the same time, it just gets turned into this whole, he's a college kid. What is he, 20?
Right.
He's a little on the older side, but I have absolutely no problem with this. I think if college provides one thing, it kind of what you were talking about, Yampo, of like young kid, they're passionate as hell. He walked into a volatile 104,000 person stadium, dominated, like really did look like a pro, Jeff. And then he celebrated like I would imagine a 22-year-old kid would. If you're going to put him on TV and give him that spotlight, at least let him enjoy the moment. Reminder, when Ohio State came in and just totally mopped the floor with him, like that was a bad thing. He had that happen to him at his stadium. He turned it around. He totally bounced back. He just completely dominated that game and celebrated like I imagine you would, with a ton of passion. I have no problem with this.
I just don't think he needs to go. There was a discussion about did he apologize? Did he actually apologize?
That bothers me. He shouldn't have to.
Yeah, someone made him apologize. Someone shamed him into apologizing. I would have just said, "Listen, it's a big game. We had a big win. I got a little carried away. That's it." So are you sorry?
I will say this. I will say this. I don't like that he did it. I think I like even less that he apologized. Does that make any sense? Like,
we can agree on that.
I hate that he did it. I wish that he was above it. But once you do it, like, you're not sorry. Like, you got carried away. Your team beat the number 2 team in the country, and you're gonna catapult through the rankings. And you had maybe the best game of your career. You're not fucking sorry at all. He did a great job.
That's why it's in Who Cares.
Just own it. Just own it. Oh, that's why it's in Who Cares? Is that why you're asking me to do this?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay.
There we go. Welcome back, Cotter. He's a little slow.
A little slow.
All right. Dodgers end an 11-game skid, clinch a playoff berth. Basically proving that you don't need to do shit at the end of the season if you kick everyone's ass early on, right?
It's like the exact opposite of college football, right? Like, you need to go into that final couple weeks like hot in college football, not in baseball.
This totally hits Brett's theory, right? Nail on the head.
It's the absolute reverse of it.
Can't win the division in April, but you can lose it.
But it's not. It wasn't their work in April. It was their work in April, May, June, and July.
I know. It's silly.
But what he's trying to tell
anyway,
Who cares?
exactly. Here's a really good quick one. Jags, Bills, and Rams are in first place. Hit it.
Who cares?
Jags look
Josh,
good.
fuck off. Josh Gordon, hoping to be at a drug rehab for the 4th time. And now, I'm not trying to make light of this situation.
Go away, Anthony.
I'm not trying to make light of this situation, okay? But what is this guy doing? He's been banned. He's coming back 4th time. Just be done. Be done. Go play in the CFL with Vince Young.
Is he allowed back? What's the deal with that? Are you allowed back? You just keep failing drug tests?
I guess.
No, I mean, I think there's obviously a final, just like
Which one is it? Because Josh Gordon's having a ball. So is there an ultimatum? Because which one is it?
He sounds like a fun guy.
so did Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Let's just get to the meat of Who Cares.
I guess.
Who cares?
This one is this is only half of what I wanted, and I don't want this to go on a tangent. It might, because we got a panel longer than Sean's dick on this thing, but
Not hard.
LeVar
Whoa.
Crickets.
What's not hard? The
Yeah, he
length
means
or
the dick's not hard.
Qualify. We're talking about flaccid.
LeVar Ball, one of my favorite people, tells Stephen A. Smith, also one of my favorite people, that the Lakers are going to win over 50 games this year.
No, not only that, it's because his son is going to win them 50 games alone.
Oh, this is like so hard to not say something totally insensitive.
Why is this guy still on television? I really like his kid got drafted. I get it. It worked. It's fine. But now why can't he just let his kid play basketball?
This is not him. This is not him.
As long as
ESPN.
Exactly. As long as Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless have jobs somewhere, LeVar Ball will get television time. Because that's what those guys need in order to thrive in journalism.
I have a really, really quick, awkward Stephen A. Smith story. So when I was in Atlanta with Sean, but not with Sean at the time, I was in an Uber, and my driver was an African-American driver, and Stephen A. Smith was on the radio, and he was yelling. He was just, pulling his typical Stephen A. yelling about the Ezekiel Elliott thing and comparing it to Josh Brown getting suspended for one game, right? And it was just so uncomfortable. And I tried to chime in and have a conversation with the guy about it. Wasn't really interested. And I'm like, why does Stephen A. Smith have a job? This guy is just a race-baiting yeller on the radio. And now he's got LeVar Ball on here. Why? How does LeVar Ball get invited to this guy's show? Why are they keeping him relevant? This is ESPN is a fucking joke.
When did they have him on?
Today.
All right, so it's midweek.
But it doesn't.
I mean, I don't understand because the NFL is going, college football is going. This guy should be gone.
He shouldn't be relevant until the middle of October.
But here's my question for the panel. Is there anybody here that is rooting for Lonzo to fail just because of his dad?
Absolutely.
You are. Why?
Because I can't stand the guy. It's just like it kind of rubs off. I don't really wish any harm on Lonzo, but when you see his father standing up like a jackass, freaking waving his arms every chance he gets, look at me, I'm a fucking asshole. You can't sit there and root for his kid. I just can't do it.
So you want him to fail. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, Brett, I know you're a longtime Laker fan. So huge. Are you rooting for him to be the greatest point guard in the history of the franchise?
No, it's weird. I don't know. I don't want LeVar Ball around. So I can't figure out a way that it comes out. It doesn't come at the expense of Lonzo. He's terribly uninteresting. I haven't believed or
who's uninteresting, LeVar or Lonzo?
LeVar.
Whenever I see Lonzo, he looks like a freaking wet paper towel.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have anything because he's that kid who grew up with a loudmouth dad. And never really got the option to form his own thoughts or opinions in life and kind of figure his way out of things. So he's had a mouthpiece his whole life. So that's why his personality is that way. I would like some sort of separation, and it's got to come from Jeannie Buss.
I think it's got to come from Magic. No.
Yeah, Magic too, sure. But one of them has to be like, dude, if you want your son on this team, shut your mouth. It's that simple. We win a championship, you can celebrate. You want to shoot off at the mouth if we win a title. If we do anything except win a title, I better not see your name in the media.
Our only other NBA fan on the panel, Nick, do you root against Lonzo, or are you hoping that he succeeds?
I really don't care, to be honest. I mean, I'm worried about my own sucky team, so to worry about the Lakers and the team that doesn't really matter to the Nets, it doesn't really affect me.
So you don't care.
That's not true though, because that's national media. This is how you're consuming your sport. I think he definitely has an impact on you, whether you're rooting for your team or not.
Yeah, but let's say that there was the equivalent of LeVar Ball in college football. You'd be screaming from the rafters that this guy needs to go away, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I was just going to say to you, Jeff, your daughter starts playing soccer, you got a vocal guy on the sideline, you're not rooting for that kid.
Well, how much beer do I have in me while I'm at the game?
Sounds like you've transitioned to the hard stuff.
Only this.
Once you go brown, you never go back.
I don't think that's how that saying goes. Odell Beckham Jr.
I'm not. This is what I'm not talking about.
That's why I'm doing it, because I knew you were stalling. Odell Beckham Jr. was competing in a dance-off in a club in New York City against Russell Westbrook on the Thursday before the Sunday night opener against Dallas.
Who reported this? Is this TMZ?
I don't know who reported it.
Non-story.
I heard it from Dave Rothenberg and Rick DiPietro and Chris Canty.
And Rothenberg's a huge.
I'm sorry, Rick DiPietro is on the radio now.
Yeah, he's great on ESPN.
Yeah, he crushes an afternoon drive show. He's hilarious.
But he's not.
Care about it?
He's not number one.
Well, I'd be hilarious too if I fucking got the highest paid contract out of college and played like 17 games in the NHL.
And believe me, he rips himself for it. It's pretty funny.
Okay, good.
It's pretty funny.
He's good on the radio. But who do you think was dressed in a more ridiculous outfit? Is my question. Russell Westbrook or OBJ? Because the stuff that Westbrook wears walking in and out of games, he looks like he grabbed something off of Mugatu's fashion line. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Derelict.
So who do you like? Do you think they just were like trying to one up each other? Like, let's show up and have a breakdance fight in the middle of the dance floor. Like, is that really what happened? Was it a scene straight out of Zoolander?
Unfortunately for this podcast, I don't spend a lot of times in New York City clubs in the VIP area, so I don't know how it went down.
You're married now. You're married with a kid now. I mean, so you're.
You remember back when we used to go to like Exit with the gas masks?
Right. You're drunk at VIP@ice.com.
.com
are over.
Yeah, but that was Las Vegas.
This is not a story, which is why it's in Who Cares.
You really don't think it's a story? You don't think it had any impact? Like, you don't think he's
this is what people do. Is there video of him dancing? Is he dancing on one leg? Is he just casually moving around? Like, someone just blows this out of proportion, like the fucking boat trip last year, because he's high profile. The guy takes a piss on the wrong side of the street is going to be called. It's like, enough.
I don't think they're talking about his urination.
Come on, Jeff. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't agree with you. I think if you are in a situation like he is, similar to what I killed Cespedes for on this show when he was going and playing rounds of golf while he was hurt. Like, you're a New York City athlete, one of the most high-profile athletes.
Fine. I'll give you that.
You got to. You got to
be smarter.
It's in season. You got to.
In season, I agree.
He's got to be smarter. I'll agree to that.
Fight.
I mean, if it's June, I don't give a damn. I really don't care.
What if there's OTAs in June? Who cares?
Yeah.
Dance fight.
Okay. College football, Sean.
Yeah, man.
I found myself, like I said, I was at a bachelor party this weekend. We were out in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, and so really all that was at our disposal was lawn games, beer, and college football. So
and a neighbor.
Ooh.
Yeah, we actually had a house full of this extended African American family that there was 50 members of a family that were split down the middle between Cowboys and Giants fans, and they rent the house every year when the Cowboys play and they have a huge party. So that it was a trip, man. They were fun, but I got a chance to see a tremendous amount of college football, which I haven't had a chance to do in a long time. So
what'd you think?
Well, I started to talk about it earlier. I was a huge fan of the Sooners and Ohio State. I thought that was an excellent game. It looked like in the Michigan game, looked like Michigan was going to struggle a little bit in the beginning, but they turned it around. And there were just so many good games on at night. Like, it was tough. Like, unless I had multiple TVs, which I didn't, I just found myself clicking back and forth, and it was tough to kind of follow. I don't know if that was by design or what. I don't know if there's a better answer. But on a night like that, I think college football could really benefit from the type of thing that the NCAA tournament does, where they have an app where you can switch between, the really important high profile games.
Yeah, sounds like you're getting the itch. Sounds like you're scratching a little bit, and this is exactly what we were trying to achieve with this segment. I think we want to take a little bit of a step back, because not a lot of our listeners and not a lot of people in the Northeast really pay a ton of attention to college football. So we're going to change the format a little bit. We're going to give the fans of the show a little top line informal discussion. Some of the key headlines, what to watch, how to get excited. And it made me think, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Don't hurt yourself.
Because you asked what I was drinking before.
I did.
When you have this kind of informal top line discussion to ease into things, Jeff. It's a fireside chat. It's a fireside chat. No different than FDR.
No, I
So
mean,
what-
pretty much just like FDR.
Right. So go ahead, Jeff. Ask me what I'm having this evening.
So, Sean, what are you drinking?
I'm having a nice cab
Oh,
for this
my
fireside
God.
chat.
Is that like, what is it, a blend?
I don't know.
Is it like a Meritage
I
or?
don't know. I don't know. This is also my first foray into the space.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
But it's a fireside chat. I'm
Yeah, but
having a
Yeah, suppose that dick
I-
goes to a bar and gets a wine and swishes it around in his mouth and spits it in the freaking spittoon. I have hints of chicory and chocolate.
Oh, the tannins are bold in this Cabernet.
Yuck.
Leather.
So, with that said, let's start this fireside chat. The ACC had some action in it. Clemson had a nice win over. Clemson had a nice win over Auburn. Their new quarterback, Kelly Bryant, looking a lot like Deshaun Watson, and their D is nasty. The Tigers held, I think they had 11 sacks in that game. Poor quarterback for Auburn. They also have held, like, in 2 games, 237 yards with a 2.1 yard average against per possession, or sorry, per down. That's insane. So keep watching Clemson. They're going to get more exciting. They've got a big one this weekend against Louisville, and we'll get to that in a second. The SEC, Bama continues its manifest destiny, but look for LSU to kind of continue to rise. They're looking good under Gojo, and their offense. He was made a water boy appearance, and their offense is really taking stride. So Bama still looking great, team to beat, but LSU is on the charge
At this point with Alabama that there's really anybody that's gonna like legitimately challenge them until the end of the year? Like they just feel like they're always hanging around, right? They're always there at the end. Is there a couple teams on their schedule that could take them out of contention for that, or should we expect them at the end?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're going to be a contender no matter what. But they play LSU November 4th. That's still a little bit of ways from here. But I think LSU is probably the team that'll give them the biggest run for their money.
That's fair.
Not Colorado, not Colorado State this weekend.
Probably not Colorado State this weekend. Line is long for that one.
I feel like with Alabama, they always have to get challenged prior to that SEC title game because they always want to play in a team from the Eastern Division. And even though Florida's solid, I feel like they always meet each other, and Alabama just whips them every year.
Yeah, I don't know if first of all, this is a fireside chat, which is a one-way conversation, but Florida's offense is ugly. Their defense is nasty, but their offense is ugly.
I was gonna say that. I saw Florida this weekend. They looked like offensively, they looked like trash. They looked like Rutgers. I mean, they were bad.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that they're the only good team in the Eastern side, though, right?
Yeah, comparatively speaking, there's probably a lot of teams that can contend in other conferences, but not the SEC. Anyway, Big 12, Oklahoma showed everybody they're the real deal this week. They dominated at times. They looked like they had a police escort down the field against Ohio State, which is a hard thing to do in Columbus, Ohio. I was at the game with Dwight Mann. Dwight Mann made a great comment. You know, they went for it on 4th down. They challenged some things that you weren't expecting, and they just played that game unafraid. If they keep up that tempo, they keep up, what they're doing there, I'm confident you'll see them in a playoff situation. But Oklahoma State, another huge threat with a high-powered offense in the Big 12. Big 12 plays a championship game this year, which could be interesting. Those two teams meet in November, so no need to tune into any other Big 12 play until November. But
Movember.
There you go. Got it. Pac-12 has shown some really high-scoring games out west. USC looks great, man. I a lot of hype on them coming into the season. No doubt that they're fulfilling it. they put up over 600 yards on Stanford, who might be the best team that they play all year. So if they can keep an offensive line healthy and their run continues to be really good, that allows Sam Darnold to do so much. And they're just hanging points on people, and they're going to be tough to beat in the Pac-12. Last but not least, the Big Ten. Ohio State had a tough loss this week, but definitely don't count them out. Penn State, they looked okay. I think there's high expectations there. The thing about the Big Ten that if you don't follow a lot of college football is like they've got 3 pretty good top 10 teams that all play each other towards the end of the season. So that stuff might not work its way out until, again, November. But there's going to be a lot of action in between with some of these other conferences. ACC is exciting. Pac-12 is exciting. So stay tuned to some of those.
What did you think? I know you were at the game, but what did you think going into the weekend was going to be the best game? Did you think it was the game that you were at was going to be the best game, the most competitive game?
I thought that game was going to come down to like a really good fourth quarter. I think it just got out of hand. I wouldn't even say it got out of hand. Oklahoma had it under control.
Yeah, they just handled their business. Like I remember I was watching that game, and when they got the ball to go into the drive, the last drive that they scored a touchdown on, I looked at my buddy next to me. I was like, they score here. This game's over. And I was genuinely surprised that an Urban Meyer coach team at home would have allowed that to happen. What looked to be relatively easily. I mean, it didn't look like they were putting up much of a fight on defense on those last 2 scoring drives that Oklahoma had.
And you're talking about a good Ohio State defense.
It was very similar to the way that Sean really did a phenomenal job managing me in Atlanta and kind of keeping me in check and not letting me get outside of the boundaries of our online relationship.
And
you did a great job.
And you were very similar, that you just kept going and kept going.
I kept pushing. That's what I do. I'm like the Energizer Buddy on crack.
Sure.
Good times. Good times.
Is this fireside chat over yet? Because it's fucking
no. I just want to give a few games to watch for this week.
Oh, I can think of one.
Louisville Clemson's going to be a good one, man. That'll be a lot of fun. This is returning national champs versus returning Heisman. I think the line's pretty tight. Yampo, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it's a 3-point game. Clemson given 3. I would take those points with Clemson. Their D is dirty, and they're going to find a way to handle Lamar Jackson.
The term is lay the points.
Got it.
Lay the points.
Got it. USC Texas also this week. It's kind of a funny one because it's the first time they're meeting since the 2005 national championship. It was one of the greatest games of all time. I don't think this one is going to be one of the greatest games of all time, but it's a good showcase to see what USC has to offer if you're a new fan to college football and just want to see some high-powered offense through USC. I don't think we know enough about Texas under Tom Herman. I don't think they're going to put up a huge fight. That gap is what, Yampo, 15 or something?
I'll have to double check that
right
one
around
for
there.
you. Go for it.
And then the last one I would just say, a peculiar game that you probably wouldn't dial into for any other reason. Definitely not Rutgers. The UCLA-Memphis game could get fun. Josh Rosen's a really exciting quarterback for UCLA. They're traveling, and that spread is 3 points. I think a lot of people would just jump on UCLA, but it could be a trap game. You've got a UCLA team flying out from LA, playing what would be a 9 o'clock morning game in Memphis to them. So I think
those teams don't travel east well at all.
No. So to play a morning game and have that, it could create some challenges. I still would take UCLA because I think Josh Rosen is just looking really, really good.
Can I ask a logistical question when it comes to college football for a game like that? Like, when do they fly out? Do you know?
I imagine that's like Thursday.
Right after class. Right after class.
2 days before, probably.
So they don't fly out the day before.
No,
Not when
God,
it's that
no.
far.
No. Okay. They don't go to class on Fridays.
No, I assumed that they didn't, but I
Or Thursday or Wednesday.
Yeah, it's just Friday. What are you talking about?
They have class on the plane. It's like snakes on a plane. Similar.
Unless they're Rutgers, then they go to class because they don't.
What's all the vitriol for Rutgers?
Morgan State, I'll be there.
If you need to get in the hot tub and show us how to do Snapchat,
I'll live stream from the hot tub
because I don't know how to do Snapchat. It was evident last week. I got called out on it.
Chlamydia's a soup.
Hey, Sean, what do you think of Tennessee, Florida?
I think Tennessee is going to mop them up. I think I would take that straight up. And the fact that
money
they're
line?
giving, I would take money line on that game.
Wow.
I think Tennessee's going to take care of them. I mean, you got. I know they're 5.5, right? I think. But
5 right now, if you want to put one in.
You noticed that was
Florida's
classic
offense is ugly,
misdirection,
though.
right? I said you noticed that was classic misdirection, right?
Yeah, trying to get away from Rutgers. Don't worry, we'll never talk Rutgers again on the show, so it's fine.
Not after that performance. Nor will we talk Notre Dame either, because they are just a joke.
Well, that was an interesting end to that game, though, right? I mean that was similar to what I was saying. Like they played the Ohio State role in that game, that they just let them go down let Georgia go down the field and score at the end in their building.
I didn't get a chance to actually see this one, and NBC makes it difficult to see replays of Notre Dame games for whatever reason, whereas ESPN allows you to watch whatever you want. But JP, we had this conversation, and if I recall, I said Notre Dame keeps finding ways to, quote, trip over the finish line, and they almost literally did that.
Oh, absolutely they did. Absolutely they did. And I think Kelly is just 1 week closer to not having a job as well.
Did anybody catch him?
Conference.
Did anybody catch him at the post game? Snap at that reporter.
What did he say?
On his phone?
No, she was basically just like, "So, coach, last year you pretty much lost every single game by one possession, and you said that things were going to be different." He's like, "Get to the point." She was like, "Well, you're doing it again." And he's
kind of unfair, though. I mean,
no, she didn't say that. She didn't. That was just the point.
Oh, that wasn't verbatim?
That was not verbatim.
Oh.
But he
check your sources, all right?
Sean, you know what's interesting about that Tennessee-Florida game? The money line is actually, although Tennessee is +5, the money line is Tennessee -110.
So what does that tell us?
It tells us take the points. +5, Tennessee.
Take the points.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. So that's what you need to know in this fireside chat, Jeff. I'll enjoy my cab while you guys talk about the National Football League.
Whatever else.
We need to get him like the Masters entry type music.
One question, Sean. I'm a big college football fan.
First time, long time.
But first time caller, long time listener.
Over under.
One thing that bothers me about the sport is how they stop the clock after every first down, because I feel like that makes the games almost like 4 hours every week.
They are long. That's part of it. Yes, I don't disagree with you on that. However, if that was in the NFL and it gave people more time to do like offensive strategy and offensive like work, wouldn't you want to see that?
Yeah, I'm actually.
Is that what it's for?
I don't know the rationale behind it, but I think it actually gives you time to do what you want to do on offense, which is what people are trying to watch.
I guess so.
Gives Miller Coors more time for more plugs.
Sure.
I think the reason college football games are so long is because they review everything. That's one of the biggest problems.
You're talking about Rutgers games solely, so that's a different animal.
No, I'm talking about in general. I mean, all college games. It seems like the average is almost 4 hours, and it's because
they're long.
They review everything.
It's like a Red Sox Yankee game from 2008.
Yeah, they're long.
Just way too long.
So they're long?
All right. The National Football League. Week 1 in the books. The local teams to the home base for this podcast are the Jets and the Giants. So the Jets, Anthony, are well, how would you describe the Jets?
Hold on, Jeff. Take a break. Take a sip, man. You sound like shit. Just grab some whiskey, clear the throat.
Down it.
Yeah.
You look like shit, Al.
The whiskey's gone.
Get a goddamn job.
The whiskey's gone. The Jets, you would describe as what, Anthony? They are what?
They are who we thought they were.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
They are pure shit. Which, I mean, ultimately is exactly what we wanted. As fans, we wanted this team to go 0-16, and they looked every bit like a team that could go 0-16. They were fucking terrible.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh my God, what team were you watching?
Honestly, week 1 was actually filled with a bunch of horrible football games, and the Jets-Bills games for a long time was probably one of the best games on.
Okay, just because when you have two bags of shit being swung at each other, the biggest common denominator is the game smells like shit. I mean, that's just the way that it works.
Yeah, this is coming from the Dolphins fans. Sit down. Like, give me a break. If you thought the Dolphins were going to win 9 games, so of course you think the Jets look good.
Dolphins look better than the Jets.
At least you scored.
Hey, Jay Cutler didn't throw a pick this week.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear that. Say that again.
I'm sorry. At least you scored 12 fucking points.
Hold on. I got an update on my phone.
Oh, good.
Craig Carton quits radio show.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
Wow.
He submitted his letter of resignation.
Shocker.
Wow.
Guilty.
Was it on the back of a Borgata receipt?
Lock it up.
Idiot. So yeah, to finish quickly on the Jets, they were exactly what I had anticipated. Their offense was dink and dunk, and they did that poorly. The other thing that kind of surprised me was the amount of big-time running plays that they had against them. I know McCoy's awesome, but like the fact that they gave up like 3 or 4 20-plus yard runs was a little surprising. I thought that their defensive line would be a little bit better, even with the departure of Richardson. But they were pretty much what I had expected. And I think if we can see the safeties improve throughout the year, that's really all that I can ask for as a fan, because I want them to lose, but I want these young guys in the back of the defense to play well.
You could ask for your money back.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Let's go over to the Giants.
Oh, let's.
The Giants looked like, let's put
They looked lost.
They looked like somebody took a shit in a bag and lit it on fire on an old man's porch. I mean, let's be fair.
You know, the interesting thing is, this is not anything that's new for this team for the last few years. I mean, the offensive line, obviously, everybody knows that's what they talk about, but the defense on this team has been the better part for the majority of the last 10 years, give or take that 1 year where they just got fucking waxed for 40 points a game. And the offense is just continually going out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. There's no creativity. How does Brandon Marshall not get looks? I just don't understand what's going on there. Well, I mean, here's the deal with Eli. We all know this. I don't even know what that sound clip was, but it sounded fun. Here's the deal. When Eli gets pressure, he's a disaster. The guy's got the happiest fucking feet going. He hates to get hit. So from the first series, it was over. The guy's like getting knocked around the pocket a little bit. It's just he does not play well in that environment. And everybody who's a diehard or a knowledgeable Giants fan knows that if Eli plays like that, or if Eli has pressure like that, he's not going to do shit. It's going to be a long year.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, like you said, that everybody's talking about they all talk about the offensive line. Well, they all talk about the offensive line because it's a legitimate.
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't, I mean, they got 2 good guys in Weston Richburg and Pugh, which are a first and a second round draft pick over the last couple of years. But Eric Flowers sucks, and I don't know. Bobby Hart got worked by a nobody, a guy who had 1 sack last season. So they got to fix it.
What'd you think of Dak?
I thought he was pedestrian.
You did.
The Cowboys' offense didn't wow me. They scored 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. And the majority of the reason they scored in the first half was that bullshit pass interference call on Jackrabbit. And then, the offense going 3 and out. You get the ball back down 12-0 with 1:40 to go. You need your offense to do you a favor and at least get a fucking first down and run out the clock. They threw 3 incomplete passes in a row, and the defense went back on after 14 seconds of game time.
Yeah, well, that's play calling, though. I mean, you had alluded to that before. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't do that.
You can't. You got.
But when you have big piles of turds in front to run the ball, and you can't run the ball.
Yeah, but these are professional linemen. We had this conversation about the backups a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about preseason football, and I made a comment: are the backups really that good? Are they worth it? Can they play? And most of you guys were like, absolutely, they can play. Then find 5 fucking linemen who can block.
Hold on. If I remember how that conversation went, it went absolutely they can play. They can play on special teams. They can go down the field and make a tackle. Nobody said that they could be a starting left tackle for the New York Giants.
Okay, well, I mean, it's time for them to make a little. Listen, I'm not nervous. I'm not concerned. It is what it is. I'm not surprised. I guess I may be a little concerned, but I'm not surprised.
You're going to have to make a lot of adjustments, though. You're not going to.
They did run a lot more formations than they have last year. They were in fucking 3 wide 90% of the time. At least they mixed it up, but it took them till the second half to do that. And then they drove right down the field. Go ahead.
I have a question for Yampo. Is this game any different if OBJ is not dancing on a Thursday?
Oh, great question, Sean. Great question. That's insightful.
What I don't understand is like Eric Flowers was such a hyped up prospect, right? And they talked about how he struggled last year, fair enough. And then they talked about in one of the segments how he was like boxing all off season, he was training his ass off, and like he still sucked against a pedestrian D line. And it's like, well, if you're that good of a prospect and you put all that work in the offseason, how could you not get better? I don't understand.
Go ahead, Sean. What do you got?
No, I'm just laughing because I'm thinking that, like, if you're a professional athlete, you both use the word pedestrian. That could be the worst way to possibly describe your skill set.
I mean, he's so bad. He gets, if you just watch his fundamentals, they're just so bad. He just cannot defend a speed rusher. He's so concerned about getting beat on the outside that he drops back too far, and guys just push him backwards, and go inside. I don't know. Whatever.
Because like I would have seen that Sean Lee is an absolute stud on that defense. He's probably one of the best linebackers in the league, but the rest of the defense doesn't really wow me, right?
No, and that's what I'm saying. Listen, flip it the other way for a minute. The Cowboys didn't do anything in this game to be like, oh my God, the Cowboys are fucking great. I mean, even if you look at some of the commentary the last couple of days, the guys who picked the Giants to win the division aren't necessarily backing off of that. That might change if this shit doesn't fix itself in a couple of weeks, but the Cowboys didn't really do anything where I was like, holy shit. And by the way, the whole Zeke thing of feeding me kind of lost its luster right now, right? It's kind of like, okay, bro.
I want to point out that we had talked last week about what was going to happen with Elliott, and it appears that I've nailed it.
You nailed it.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully, I hope I'm wrong, but it looks like the guy's going to play the whole year, and it's really kind of just sad. Let's go around the league a little bit. The Rams. You think the Rams are that good or the Colts are that bad, Nick?
I would say that the Rams are very improved because I think I read a stat where like Wade Phillips, the first team that he comes to, they always like improve their defense drastically. I think they had a great defense before that, but
that's a stat.
It sounds like an ESPN stat.
It was something like that type of
the LeVar Ball stat.
It's a money ball
exactly.
stat.
I like the Rams. I think Jared Goff's the type of guy that maybe he needs a young coach to kind of be in his ear a little bit, give him a little motivation. Jeff Fisher obviously doesn't know what he's doing with quarterbacks, so I think that was a mistake. But I think they have a good team. But
So you like the Rams, Nick?
What? What'd you say?
You like the Rams?
I do like the Rams. Yeah.
So if you move to LA, there's plenty of seats available. You can go
anywhere in the state.
That was, man. What a disgrace that was.
Teams are dying to move to LA. They can't even fill the fucking Coliseum.
Well, do you think they're any good, or do you think the Colts are just that bad, Yampa?
I think the Colts. Well, I think they're improved. I think the Rams are improved, but the Colts are fucking terrible. I mean, the Colts could give the Jets a run for their money this year. People were dogging the Browns, and the Browns hung with the Steelers, and we'll see if that lasts. But the Colts are bad.
Well, so two things from my end on that. The Browns, I said going into this year's draft, the Browns did exactly what they were supposed to do. They just stockpiled draft picks, and they have to hit on them, but they did. They're building their team.
Looks like they're doing all right.
They're finally building their team the right way. The Colts are exactly what I'm afraid the New York Jets would be, right? They're so bad, and they're like, oh, we'll get our franchise quarterback. Well, the Colts have their franchise quarterback, and he's hurt, and they keep running him out in the field, and the team they have around him is dog shit.
And they're not doing anything that shows they're going to give him any help.
So that's my point. Is like you're searching for this unicorn of a quarterback to lead your franchise. Well, there's one right there on the Colts, and they stink on ice. So
I mean, they're just so bad. And anytime you got a guy named Scott Tolzien playing quarterback, it's no bueno.
No, it's not good. Brett, are the Patriots getting old?
I mean, they have a 40-year-old quarterback.
You were pretty fucking quiet on Thursday.
Yeah, but he drinks kale smoothies.
Well, no, you know what happened? You know why I was quiet on Thursday? I fell asleep. I fell asleep in the start of the fourth quarter. So when I went to bed, the Pats were up.
Typical. I went to bed. The Patriots are winning. Then
I wish I could be a fly on the wall in Brett's bedroom when he wakes up and looks at his phone. He's like, oh shit!
Literally, the first thing I did when I opened my phone in the morning, I was like, "You got to be fucking."
Alex Smith did what?
Yeah, I mean, you know what was funny about Smith though? He was bombing the ball downfield.
Yeah, good for him.
And it was like I'm watching this game, I'm like, since when does Alex Smith do? I haven't seen that guy throw over 9 yards in like 4 years. When does he start bombing, 70-yard touchdowns? It was unbelievable. Their defense got mowed over.
I'm disappointed that it wasn't like 2002 that you would have went to bed and put an instant message away message up that's like 1-0, baby.
1-0 on to New Orleans.
Nick, I just want to address something you said. I have been the fly on the wall in that bedroom. You don't want to be in there. It is a hot fucking fart coffin. It is so bad.
Talk about pedestrian. I don't know if you want yourself described as a hot fart coffin.
Empty bottles of Goldschlager just laying in the corner.
Oh God, that was Striffler. That was all Striffler.
But so you're not worried at all? I mean, I know you are.
I'm not
in first place right now. The Buffalo Bills are in first place. So.
The Buffalo Bills.
We're all looking up at the Bills.
Nobody.
I would not. I mean, I'm not worried right now in week one. I'm not anything after week one. If the Pats won week one, I would still be like, whatever, man. We got to play. We got a bunch of games to play. So Kansas City theoretically looms as a potential team that you're going to face in the playoffs.
You got to get there.
Make it right. If you're fortunate enough to make it, they're one of the quote unquote top teams in the AFC.
Here comes the humbling. If you're fortunate enough to make the playoffs.
Sounds like Bill Belichick.
Let's get into some real analysis here for a second. Gronkowski looked fucking slow. He looked a step behind. There is not a safety in this league that has guarded him one-on-one for years. And Eric Berry shut his ass down.
Eric Berry is one of the best safeties.
Okay, but there are other guys in this league that are just as good that were not able to contain him the way that Eric Berry shut him down. Plus, I think Gronk he might be slowing down injury-wise.
He's had 19 surgeries. Yeah,
I heard a stat that Gronk was actually out dancing Wednesday night with OBJ.
Oh, my God.
That might have been wild.
This is the kind of shit. And
I think losing Edelman hurts them, too. It hurts them more than they think. Danny Amendola is not a serviceable replacement. Like Danny Amendola is
a walking concussion.
Is not Edelman stepping into Welker's shoes. He's a guy made of
very
glass.
oaky, Sean.
He's a guy made of glass who doesn't hang on to those balls that Edelman hung on to, and he doesn't get that extra 1, 2, 3 yards after the catch that Edelman would get.
So Edelman wasn't that guy right when Welker was there. He had to it took a couple of years.
It took a couple of years.
But Amendola's on the other side of his career. Yeah,
exactly. And Amendola's been on that team for a couple of years. So, I don't know. I think they have to figure out a little bit more offensively, which I don't have a problem with because I like what Josh McDaniels does. Matt Patricia probably got locked in a closet for the past 7 days because Belichick was like, figure this shit out.
With R. Kelly?
Or else I'll kill you. You and Ernie Adams go watch tape for the next 900 hours, and if you better come out with a better plan than what I saw, this past week. So New Orleans, they have a potential. Drew Brees is back there, man. He's going to sling the ball. So
yeah, but Cooks is on your team now.
And Cooks is on our side now, and that's great. But offense has to score, has to try and roll and start getting points, and then hopefully the defense can come together. I'm not anything now, but talk to me in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Maybe I am something.
The best overreaction that I saw was on Twitter when people were like, guaranteed Brady doesn't start at the end of the year. I'm like, you fucking people. Like
Twitter is,
hey, hold on.
Is the best and worst that this country has to offer, all in one fucked up internet soup.
Remember when 2014 the Pats started 1-2 and they got killed by the Chiefs?
Crushed by the Chiefs.
They're calling for Brady's benching. They went out to win the Super Bowl.
Every article on ESPN that night was about how Brady's done. He's done. It's over. It's time to start looking at Jimmy Garoppolo.
Please.
2 Super Bowls later.
So let's turn away from the old guard and talk about some of the young guys that the young hot guys actually that did some work over the weekend. Any rookies stand out to anybody in particular that did some work this weekend?
Sean,
do you have an opinion on that? Who would you think might be a rookie?
There were 3 to me. Kareem Hunt in the game that you're talking about set rookie record.
Don't say.
He was out of this world. I thought Fournette did a great job. It's interesting to see. Dalvin Cook would be the third, by the way. But it's interesting to see these guys transition so quickly into those roles that you probably would, outside of Fournette, you would have not thought that. There's no way you could have said that those other two would have been as impactful as they were. So it was exciting for me as a college football fan to actually like watch the NFL for the first time in a long time and see these guys perform really well.
I think you missed a big one there. TJ Watt had 2 sacks and a pick, and that pick was awesome. He went way up, overextended, and pulled that ball down. To me, TJ Watt had one of the best games, period, and he's a rookie.
I wanted him so bad.
Do you guys see it for him? Do you see his career panning out like JJ's and the Steelers just making a tremendous draft pick there?
I don't. And I'm sorry, I say that just purely based on if I'm comparing the two brothers' college careers, or at least the tail end of them. I thought TJ Watt was good. I didn't think he was that like crazy good. But you have a bloodline of like dudes who are willing to like go for it all. So maybe it's an attitude thing and less a talent thing that got him to the point. But I can't see him having a parallel career to his brother.
It's funny because you say that about the younger Watt brother not being as good as the older Watt brother. We said the exact opposite for years about the two Farrell brothers. So
I was hoping it was going to go in that direction. Yeah, all the talent's on the younger side.
Right, we feel like we've got the Arnold Schwarzenegger to the DeVito part.
I agree. I wrote a short story about this actually.
You did. Would you like to share it?
No, I'll read it. I'll read it.
A haiku.
No, it was actually a novella.
Let's talk a little bit, Sean. I think it was you. If it's not you, whoever it was, speak up. Spoke immediately during Monday Night Football.
That was me.
And started to just rip Rex Ryan apart. It
was
a lot
bad.
of broadcasters this week. You had Romo making his debut, and you had Rex making his debut. I guess let's take the Rex thing first.
So here's my problem with a lot of announcers. Like they get into this situation. Like if Rex Ryan was the Rex Ryan that you saw on like Hard Knocks, that'd be fucking entertaining as hell. But he like toned it back and he tried to like provide a little bit of analysis from a coach standpoint, but also like be a broadcaster. He's just not a broadcaster.
So you just want that broad to ask him, what do you think? And he's gonna say, I'm gonna get a goddamn snack.
Yes. Well, wouldn't that make that game so
Here
much
he
better?
is having the time of his life.
I think it's a wasted opportunity because he's going to be. I think the being in the booth was bad, but I think he's going to be on the ESPN panel. I think it's a wasted advertising opportunity if before they throw a commercial every time they don't do a Rex Ryan's "Let's go get a goddamn snack" brought to you by
Dr. Scholl's
Hostess.
Right, and just every commercial break is brought to you by some other snack food that Rex Ryan kicks to. Total wasted opportunity if they don't do that.
All kidding aside,
I'm not kidding at all.
No, he's dead serious.
Like Sean and I mean, Beth Mowins has been on ESPN doing college games for well over a decade.
30 years,
so
I think.
She's been around for a long time. And I mean, all jokes aside, the team that they put her with, she deserved so much better than what she got. I mean, it was an absolute travesty that happened to a professional like her. JP,
do you think she wore open-toed shoes for the game?
It was probably fucking peep-toed flats. I hate those. Man. I fucking hate those.
Rex loves them.
Where's the inappropriate bell?
Oh, I love your toes.
Listen, but you know what's interesting? Sean talks about how he didn't like Rex trying to be the coach and kind of give that like relatively recent coaching perspective. Tony Romo got a ton of praise for being one of the first color guys and probably the first time giving real-time analysis. Now, when I first heard it, it was kind of like off-putting. I was kind of perturbed by it. He was like calling the play.
I loved
it. He's
like,
oh, here comes the check. He's going to run to the left. And Jim Nantz was like, and it's a run to the left. And it was like so fucking weird. But then after a little while, it was like pretty impressive. Like it's kind of cool to like be in the game through the eyes of this quarterback calling it. I don't know. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was pretty cool too.
Sims announcing and he just says anything that comes to his mind.
Peyton Manning.
I agree, and he actually I think that's a great point. I actually feel the same way about Teixeira when he talks about baseball and he does analysis. He gives you a point of view of like okay, when I faced this guy last year or two, like whatever, like he's got a dirty curveball and you can't touch it. And like things that you wouldn't really know or understand, but at least they say it in a way that like it actually makes sense to a common fan. So I can appreciate that.
Well,
I think that's a great point.
Yeah, I think a lot of these other guys.
Would you say that he's on the mark? Teixeira?
I think a lot of these other color guys in the past have done a lot of pregame work and a lot, all the production work and all those meetings where they get all this stuff, and then the play happens, and then they do the analysis. Like, I talked to the coach during the week, and he had mentioned we'd probably see something like that, as opposed to Romo being like, here's the safety creeping down, it's a cover two, he's checking the middle linebacker, here comes a pass, the fade is open, and the guy would throw the fucking thing. Yeah, he wasn't right all the time, but it was pretty cool.
Gruden's a good example of that, right? Like Gruden does it after, but he explained, like sometimes he'll be like, I think this upcoming play will probably be a
loop-de-loop,
YZ out banana slug. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then he'll explain it after. I think having it in that time of like what to anticipate is actually pretty cool.
I've got
they dropped the term.
In my house.
They dropped the term RPO a lot. Those guys are big on
run pass option.
Yep. You hear it 800 times.
Was that a question, JP?
Absolutely not.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I
love Lamp.
So from guys that have made their living on analysis to a guy that has absolutely no analyzing skills.
This is John Anthony here. I'm the $1 million man with a $1 billion plan. From Wall Street to Tokyo to Hollywood, all your big money is going to stay and play with me. That's right. That's why they call me the $1 Million Man.
So it's time for our newest segment. It is the Yampo's Lock of the Week.
I'm gonna have to come up with a better name for this. Obviously, this is just kind of impromptu, but
I'm a big fan of. If you go over to lowandoutside.com and you go to our football section, you can see our own Anthony is doing an article every week on the Jets called Butt Fumbling, and he had a really great one that I think we should do, especially in light of the breaking news today. And what was the lock of the week that you had?
It was the Craig Carton lock of the week.
Yeah. Craig Carton lock.
I'm kind of partial to the yam bag of the week.
Oh, we could do the yam bag of the week.
That's not a bad one.
That's part of the reason that Sean's brother hates me, but that's neither here nor there.
I think if you're going to do the yam bag of the week, you got to pick two, and then like every once in a while, it's like, there's the third one, surprise.
Surprise. All right, well, here's the thing. This is going to be a new segment. If you haven't seen Two for the Money and you're a degenerate gambler like myself, watch it. John Anthony, Matthew McConaughey as John Anthony, Al Pacino, great flick, great sports betting flick. It's not realistic, but it's great. Anyway, here's what we're going to do. Every week, I'm going to pick 2 to 3 NFL games that I think are a lock. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm actually betting on these games, okay? So I'm actually vested in this. I bet on these 3 games I'm going to give you today in a parlay. So here we go. First game, New England versus New Orleans. New England is 6.5-point favorites. There's no way this team's going 0-2. They're winning by a touchdown or more. This is a lock. Lock it in. Anybody else think no? No?
No, sorry, just real quick. No. This is a parlay. You're going all 3?
Yep, all 3. Well, I'm happy to do a parlay this week. Yes, I'm doing a parlay.
Parlay?
It's got to be a parlay every week for $300.
Okay, that's a bit, Tad. That's a bit rough, but okay.
I think there's no way. I think you're right. I think there's no way New England loses.
I mean, lay the points. This Belichick team is not going 0-2. Okay?
Okay.
Game number 2.
Okay.
Philadelphia visiting Kansas City. Kansas City, I got them. The line was moving a little bit. Moved up to 5.5. That's where I got it. Andy Reid is 16-2 when he has more than a week to prepare for an opponent. Okay? He's already beaten his former team in 2013 at the Link. He's going to close the home and home here and beat them this week. I think Kansas City keeps it rolling, wins by 7.
Okay, laying the points. Go ahead.
Lay the points. And last but not least, the Washington Redskins, because that's what their fucking name is, not the Washington Football Club or any other PC bullshit. The Washington Redskins versus the LA Rams. Rams are -3. This is Sean McVay, his first game against his former squad. Lame duck quarterback and Kirk Cousins. Lay the points. There it is. $25 to win 155.
Make it happen.
Call me the $1 Million Man.
I can smell the money already.
I'm not as invested if you're only betting $25.
Okay, well, you got to start somewhere. I don't bet on week 1. You got to let the shit shake out. I sometimes don't bet on week 2 because it's like everyone's high on a team, and then they come out and put up a clunker. But
if you're trying to
build a base,
invested in either your success or your disaster,
I gotta get it.
That's not a high enough threshold.
Right, I gotta build a base. Let's win the 155, and then we'll press it next week.
Let's just the tips, and we'll see how it feels.
Oh, just the tips. That we need to bring that one back.
Is what we're going for here. Last call, boys.
I like those 2 football segments that were like sequential.
We did those back to back tonight.
And a belly to belly.
Sean, what do you got? Anything to close us out?
No, I was very happy to hear that you are becoming a college football fan. Hopefully we'll get a few more. This wine was delicious from Walgreens. And I'm going to go catch up on a little Bachelor in Paradise after this, boys.
Me too, buddy.
Yeah.
That is just
fucking Dean, am I right?
Dino,
am I right?
Dino. Unbelievable, that guy.
Anthony.
I got 2 things. First, go Eastern Michigan. Second, I learned something this week that I don't know how it passed me by until now. Does anyone know what Josh McCown's weekly bonus is for every game he starts for the Jets?
$750,000.
No, that would be ridiculous.
$125,000.
Correct. He gets a $125,000 bonus for every start he makes, and that is the highest bonus of its kind given in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, but his salary is a joke.
I don't care. That's fucking terrible. He's Josh McCown.
You know what that means? That just means he's not going to play more than the first 4 weeks.
Right.
That's all that means.
I'll tell you right now, the Jets. First of all, the Jets are going to get more than 4 wins.
No way.
They are. They're going to get more than 4.
I actually think that's a good GM move, right? Like, hey, if it pans out, fantastic. You're paying what you normally would. If not, like, you got what you needed out of him, and it's over. It's still a ridiculous amount of money, though.
You think the Jets are going to win 4 games? Who wins more games, the Jets or Rutgers?
That's a close one.
Moving on to
Rutgers.
Moving on to JP. You got any last minute segments there?
The Jets. I want to say rest in peace to Frank Vincent, who passed away earlier today. And Ant, go get your fucking shine box.
Oh, I don't know if you know. I don't shine shoes no more, Billy.
Nice little segue there. Yampo.
Hey guy.
What do you got?
I got a lot. I think Sean and I are working on a 30 for 30. I got the novella, and we're also talking about a golf spin-off podcast called The Black Hole. And Indians 21-game winning streak. How is that possible? That's pretty fucking impressive.
Tito Francona.
Tito's and what?
Tito's and I don't know. Nikki.
You can catch me shotgunning beers outside of High Point Solution Stadium this weekend.
If you don't make Barstool Rutgers or the 5th,
they don't waste their time at Rutgers.
Yes, they do. Oh, I follow Barstool Rutgers. There's a Barstool at every fucking school. Okay, so Barstool Rutgers. If you don't make it like smashing a beer on some chick's head and then like shotgunning it, you're off the show.
All right. Yeah, don't promote that on our media. Give it to Barstool.
Yeah, totally.
Drive more traffic to Barstool. They need.
Yeah, it's a good idea. God, I'm not smart.
Well,
Snapchat from jail, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna log into the Snapchat.
Nick, I'll be in the front of the Blue Lock if you want to come say hi and have a beer.
All right.
Probably not.
You want to bring
my favorite.
He'll be bringing a 24 case of Brooklyn Lager from last year.
A variety pack.
Of Blast Point. Bubby, what do you got?
I was going to talk about the Indians, but Twitter saved my bacon. Apparently, the Red Sox hung a massive banner over the Green Monster tonight that read, "Racism is as American as baseball." Don't know what the fuck that
means. Red Sox hung that or fans?
Well, Red Sox fans.
All right, well, that's a big difference.
Yeah, dude, that's like a major detail.
What do you guys think? Are you guys fucking idiots? Do you think the Red Sox hung a banner that said that?
You said they did, so it must be true.
It's on the internet now. It's true.
Hey, next week, can we just have a discussion on worst fan base of all time? Because you guys brought up LA, and I wanted to talk about it, but we were running out of time. So next week, fans.
Just bring your Chardonnay.
While we were on the air, Houston Texans linebacker Brian Cushing has been suspended 10 games.
For what?
For violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing subs.
That guy was a meathead in high school.
Is anybody surprised by that?
No, I'm surprised that Tom Savage's agent was all fired up about him getting benched after 31 plays.
In addition to the suspension of Cushing, the UFC has stripped John Bones Jones of the title, who also tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. So, unlike those two guys, there is zero performance-enhancing drugs going on this show.
Whoa.
You can find us on lowandoutside.com, where there's all sorts of material there. We've got some new articles going up on everything from college football. JP, what's the article that you just put up this week?
It's called Why I Chop.
Why? No, it wasn't Who Cares in there.
Keep chopping.
Why I Chop by JP. We got Butt Fumbling by Anthony. We got a couple of different pro wrestling articles, which half the panel will laugh about and not care about. So
keep an eye out for A Tale of Two Pharaohs.
Less than half.
That's not true. That's not true. So look for us on social media, Low Outside Sport. Snapchat is not exactly as lit as our old podcast was, but I've been told that Yampo is going to take that over and make it lit.
What's the login?
Thanks for taking the time, everybody. And yeah, I mean, find us there. And
Where's there? You're bombing.
Lowandoutside.com.
Is that our website?
We have a website?
I'm not a fan of any of you.
Desperandum, dear lady.
That fucking Instagram beefcake.
Desperandum, dear lady. Across the desert lies the promised land.
See ya.
Goodbye, Mrs. Gloop. Adieu. Auf Wiedersehen. Gesundheit. Farewell.
Fare thee well to you, my own true love. River Mercy, fare thee well. I am bound for California, a place that I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I signed on a Yankee Clipper ship. Davy Crockett is the name, and the captain's name it is Burgess, and they say that she's a floating shame. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I sailed with Burgess once before, and I think that I know him well. If a man's a sailor, he will get along. If he's not, then he's sure in hell. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. All right, Gio. Oh, the sun is on the harbor, love. Oh, I wish that I could remain, for I know that it will be a long, long time before I see you again. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. One more time. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee.
Come on, hang on.
That fucking Instagram beefcake. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm so pissed. I had the freaking window scrolled so I didn't see it. Like the whole show, I didn't see it. So fucking pissed.
Is there a way you can just send us those sound clips?
The drops.
Yeah. I would love to have them just.
I would love to have control of that.
Well, here's the
Not
problem.
control, just like I think they're funny.
Yeah, Sean, I do.
Here's the problem is like what was I gonna say? The like Anthony was trying to play sounds tonight off his computer. You can't make out what the hell they are.
Right. Peyton Manning.
Hold on, I'm trying.
Dance party.
Sean, I do. Yeah. Thanks, Sarah.
Did you hear what she said?
You want a hand rub when you're done.
She did not ask for an HJ.
I think
No, I didn't say hand job. I said a hand rub.
I think what you said is live. You know, good times.
You should leave that in the show.
Hold on. Let's start the show properly. Okay, I'm not going to put any of that in there. Just so.
What about the beginning where we were looping and I did the weird breathing and said, fuck.
Fuck.
Oh,
Are we? Do we start?
Hey, can we talk format real quick? I thought that one went pretty well as far as like hitting headlines and things that like the Who Cares moving it up was good. I was surprised at how much discussion we had around college football, to be honest.
You mean how long you talked?
Yeah. Oh, that's Paul McKenna-Black.
It's because I actually watched college football this week.
Were you actually interested?
Yes, I watched.
It's so much fun, man.
I watch it every week, but no one cares about me.
Actually, you're like the headliner. When I'm not on, you're like the man. You make
The
me
head
laugh.
asshole.
You make me laugh so hard, and Sean nailed it. When I'm not on, you're the big dick.